All right, thank you guys. Welcome to our NBA video here today for Wednesday, May 5th. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. Now, we're coming fresh off a 4-1 day in our 5 premium sports picks on my Patreon website yesterday. And that's going to put us at 6-1 in our last 7 extra daily pick tier package plays on that Patreon page. And the good news is this here, guys. We have another extra daily pick tier package play going off today. And if you want to access that extra daily pick, it's only going to cost you just $2.99. Now, we currently have over 1,105 members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to see which one of these YouTube picks I'm actually betting on personally, link for that page is in the description section below. Once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. With that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some NBA action. We're going to start with the Celtics taking on the Magic, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Boston is -10, totals 217.5. Now, in my opinion here, this is a terrible spot for Boston backers, laying double digits on the road with a team who just doesn't cover the number, and they have multiple players injured. So, first, the Celtics have failed to cover the point spread in 6 out of their last 8. And second, Walker and Tatum, they've been listed as questionable, and Jaylen Brown, he's been ruled out. Now, Boston plays their worst basketball on the road. They're just 13-18 straight up as the official road team. And the Celtics are also in the bottom 5 in the league in first quarter scoring on the road. Now, another thing to add here, they're also in the bottom 3 defensively and third quarter points allowed on the road as well. They're taking on an Orlando club who's actually on a 2-game winning streak, and they got the W in 3 out of their last 4 as well. Now, the Magic's also done a pretty nice job covering the point spread here recently as well. They're 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 ball games. And for as bad as they've been this season, and believe me, they've been terrible, the Orlando Magic has successfully covered the point spread in 50% of their home games. And as a matter of fact, Orlando's in the top 10 in the NBA in offensive rebounding. Cole Anthony's averaging over a dozen points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists for the guard. Meanwhile, Dwayne Bacon is averaging double digits a night himself, along with 3 boards. Now, total-wise, when it comes to the scoring in this one, Orlando's last 2 straight got over the number, 8-2 to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Celtics saw their last 5 straight get over the line themselves, 70% to the over in their last 10 as well. I'm going to lean toward the Orlando Magic +10 in the over 217.5. Next ball game, Blazers versus the Cavaliers, 7:30 p.m. Eastern start time. Portland's -11, numbers 227. And the Blazers have won 4 out of their last 5 ball games, 6-3 against the spread in their last 9. And in addition to going 20-13 straight up in their 33 road games, the Blazers have covered the point spread in 61% of those road contests. Now, Portland's done a fine job putting up points on the board when they travel. They're in the top 5 in road scoring, top 3 in shooting the 3 ball in that same category. Damian Lillard's scoring over 28 points a game, 4 rebounds, 7 assists for the starting guard. Meanwhile, Norm Powell scoring 17 points a night himself, along with 3 rebounds and a couple assists. Portland averages 117 points a game when they travel, and they shoot nearly 40% from beyond the arc away from home. Now, they're taking on a putrid Cleveland team who actually lost their last 7 straight, and they also posted a record of just 1-10 straight up in their last 11. Now, even worse than that, out of that very span of 11 ball games, their last 11 games, the Cavaliers successfully covered the point spread just once during that stretch. Now, Cleveland has the 2nd worst record in the East, as they're currently 23 games below 500 right now. The Cleveland Cavaliers are also dead last in scoring on average per contest. And, another thing to add here, they're in the bottom 3 in defending the 3 ball. Now, Garland, Dellavedova, Hartenstein, and Stevens, they're all questionable for tonight's action. And when it comes to the number in this one, Cleveland did see their last 2 straight get over the number, 6-3 to the over in their last 9. Meanwhile, the Blazers saw 5 out of their last 9 get over the line themselves. 19 and 10 to the over when they travel. I'm going to lean toward the Portland Trailblazers minus 11 and the over 227. Next contest I have for you, it is going to be the Suns versus the Hawks, 8 o'clock East. Phoenix is -1, totals 228.5. Now the Suns are on a 5-game winning streak, 6-3 against the number in their last 9. Phoenix is tied with Utah for the best record in the entire NBA. They're currently 29 games above 500 for the year. Now the Suns have been exceptional on the offensive end of the court this year. They're in the top 3 in offensive field goal percentage, and they average 115 points a game. Devin Booker scoring over 25.5 points per contest, 4 rebounds, 4 assists for the starting guard. Meanwhile, Chris Paul is dropping 16 a night himself, 4 rebounds, 8 assists for the multi-time All-Star. Now, in addition to leading the NBA in road free throw percentage, the Suns are also holding their opponents defensively to just 108 points a game. Certainly looking at a team who gets the job done on both ends of the court. Now, Phoenix is taking on an Atlanta squad who lost 3 out of their last 5 ball games. The Hawks have also struggled as the underdog this season. They've won just 13 out of 32 contests when catching plus money. Bogdanovich is questionable. Hunter's obviously still out. And if we're into historical trends, the Hawks have failed to cover the point spread in 7 out of their last 10 meetings with Phoenix. Now, when it comes to the scoring in this matchup here, when it comes to the number, Atlanta's last 2 straight fell under the line, 5-1 of the under in their last 6. Meanwhile, the Suns saw 6 out of their last 10 meetings with Atlanta stay under the total as well. I'm going to lean toward the Phoenix Suns -1 and the under 228.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Grizzlies versus the Timberwolves, 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Memphis is -3.5, totals 236. And despite a stroke of misfortune here recently, we're still looking at a Memphis club who actually does a real nice job covering the number on the road. Now, the Grizzlies are officially 20-12 against the spread when they travel. And, of course, that's good for 63% in that category. And in addition to that, the Grizzlies are amongst the best road scoring teams in the association. They average nearly 118 points a game when they travel, and they also rank in the top 5 in the league in road offensive field goal percentage. John Morant is scoring over 19 points a night, 3 rebounds, 7 assists for the guard. Meanwhile, Dylan Brooks is scoring 17 points a game himself, along with 2 boards and a couple assists. Now, in addition to a strong ability to score, the Grizzlies are also in the top 10 in the NBA in offensive rebounding on the road. Now, they're taking on a Minnesota club who has the 3rd worst record in the entire NBA despite their recent success. Minnesota is currently 25 games below 500, and they also find themselves with a .308 win percentage. Now, Minnesota's dead last in the league in defending the 3-ball. They also allow 118 points per contest. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Minnesota's last 5 ball games stayed under the total, 60% to the under in their last 10 meetings with Memphis. Meanwhile, the Grizzlies saw 5 out of their last 8 stay under the total themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Memphis Grizzlies -3.5 and the under 236. Next matchup I have for you, it is going to be the Sixers versus the Rockets, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Philadelphia is -13.5, totals 223. The Sixers are on a 5-game winning streak, 4-1 against the spread in those victories. The Sixers currently have sole possession of first place in the Eastern Conference. They're 1.5 games ahead of Brooklyn, and they also find themselves 23 games above 500. Now, Philly's played they played some outstanding defense on the road this year. They're in the top 5 in points allowed when traveling, top 10 in road defensive rebounding. Joel Embiid scoring 29 points a game, 10 boards, 3 assists for the big center. Meanwhile, Tobias Harris is scoring almost 20 a game himself, 7 rebounds, 3 assists for the starting forward. Now, the Philadelphia 76ers, they are in the top 10 in the association in offensive rebounding as well. One of the best rebounding teams in the game right now. They're taking on, the worst team in the NBA here tonight in the Houston Rockets. They're currently 33 games below 500, 246 win percentage for Houston. They've been victorious in only 8 of 34 home games, and they also successfully cover the point spread in just 23% of those matchups. The Rockets were also dead last in shooting the three ball, dead last in defensive rebounding at home. Now, Augustine, Wood, and House, they're all listed as questionable. And when it comes to the total in this one, 5 out of Houston's last 8 ball games stayed under the line. 22-12 to the under as the home team. Meanwhile, the Sixers went 60% to the under in their last 10 ball games themselves. 21-12 to the under on the road. I'm going to lean toward the Philadelphia 76ers minus 13.5 and the under 223. And obviously, you saw me turn the TV screen off behind me. Just had an emergency alert system. So it completely takes over my screen and messes everything up and unpauses the TV and takes away the sports betting app. So blank screen for the rest of the way here. But anyway, next game, Kings-Pacers, 8 p.m. Eastern start time. Indiana's minus 6 and numbers 239.5. The Pacers have lost 3 out of their last 4 ball games, 3-6 against the spread in their last 9. They also played their worst basketball at the Bankers Life Fieldhouse. They've gotten the W in just 11 of 30 home games. Now, even worse than that, Indiana's covered the spread as the home team in just 26% of their home games. The Pacers' biggest problem is their inability to rebound the basketball. Indiana's currently in the bottom 3 in home offensive rebounding, bottom 3 in home defensive rebounding as well. Sumner, Lamb, Brogdon, they're all questionable. Meanwhile, Sampson and Turner, they're still out. They're taking on a Sacramento team who scores a whole bunch of points early in games. They're in the top 5 in first quarter scoring, top 3 in second quarter scoring on the road. The Kings have also been pretty hot lately. They're currently on a 3-game winning streak. They also got the W in 6 out of their last 9. Buddy Hield scoring nearly 17 points a game for Sacramento, 4 rebounds, 3 assists for the starting guard. Meanwhile, Rashawn Holmes is scoring 14.5 points per contest himself, along with 8 rebounds. Despite the potential absence of Harrison Barnes here this evening, Sacramento's gone 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 outings. Now, total-wise, Sacramento's last 3 straight stayed under the number, 5-1 to the under in their last 6. The Kings have also gone 19-14 to the under as the official road team. Meanwhile, the Pacers went 60% to the under in their last 10 meetings with Sacramento themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Sacramento Kings plus 6 and the under 239.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Wizards versus the Bucks, 8 p.m. Let's try that again. Wizards versus the Bucks, 8 p.m. Eastern tip-off. The Milwaukee Bucks are minus 4.5, totals 241. Despite playing in the second of a back-to-back here this evening, the Bucks do play their best basketball at the Fiserv Forum. They're 22-10 straight up as the home team, and they're currently leading the NBA in home scoring. The Bucks are averaging 120 points a night at the Fiserv, and they're drilling nearly 41% of their three-pointers there. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's scoring 28.5 points per contest, 11 boards and 5 assists for the Greek Freak. Meanwhile, Chris Middleton's dropping over 20 points a game himself, 6 rebounds, 5.5 assists for the forward. Middleton's also draining 43% of his 3 balls. Milwaukee's currently on a 3-game winning streak, and they got the job done against the number in 6 out of their last 8. Now they're taking on a Wizards team who doesn't play good enough defense, in my opinion, to be able to hold a team like Milwaukee down here this evening. The Wizards are in the bottom 3 defensively in points allowed, bottom 10 in defending the 3-ball. Now the Wizards are giving up over 118 points a game. They also picked up the W in just 13 out of 31 road games as well. Now total-wise, 5 out of Washington's last 9 ball games stayed under the number, throwing out the Indy game. Washington is also 18-13 to the under when they travel. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the Bucks saw their last 3 straight stay under the number themselves, 6-1 to the under in their last 7. I'm going to lean toward the Milwaukee Bucks minus 4.5 and the under 241. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Knicks versus the Nuggets, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The Denver Nuggets are minus 3.5, numbers 215. Now, the Nuggets have been pretty bad covering the point spread here recently. They're just 3-6 against the spread in their last 9. That's good for just 33% in that particular category. And they've also struggled to cover the point spread at the Ball Arena. Denver's covered in just 15 out of 34 home games, and they're certainly not at full strength right now. Jokic and Nagy, they're both questionable. Barton and Dozier, they're both out. So certainly something you want to look at, as Jokic is their leading scorer. Keep an eye on him if you're looking to fire on this game here. Now, Denver's taking on a New York squad who continues to roll. They're currently on a 3-game winning streak, and they also got the W in 12 out of their last 13. Now, even better for New York backers here, the Knicks have gone a staggering 15-1 against the spread in their last 16 ball games. The Knicks have the best defensive play in the league. They're first in points allowed, first in defending the 3-ball. New York also holds their opponents to just 103 points a game when they travel, and they limit them to just 32% shooting from beyond the arc in that same category. Now, Julius Randle scoring over 24 points a game, 10 rebounds, 5 assists for the forward. Meanwhile, R.J. Barrett scoring over 17.5 points a game himself, 5 rebounds, 3 assists for Barrett. Now, the Knicks lead the NBA in road defensive field goal percentage, and they're covering in 66% of their road games. And when it comes to the total on this one, New York did see their last 2 straight get over the posted number, 80% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Nuggets are 21-13 to the over at the Ball Arena. They also went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 meetings with New York. I'm going to lean toward the New York Knicks plus 3.5 and the over 215. With that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Spurs versus the Jazz, 9 o'clock Eastern start time. The Utah Jazz are minus 6.5, totals 218 and a hook. But despite an incredible home record, the Jazz have struggled to cover the number here recently. They failed to cover in 4 out of their last 6. And they're going to have to go to work once again without Mike Conley. Now, oddly enough, the Utah Jazz also rank in the bottom half of the league in fourth quarter scoring at home. So keep that factor in mind if maybe you're betting props or if you're just betting the game, maybe an opportunity for a backdoor cover with the underdogs here. Now, they're taking on a Spurs club who covered the number a whole heck of a lot here recently despite their struggles. San Antonio's gone 6-1 against the spread in their last 7, 80% against the number in their last 10. San Antonio also covers in 71% of their road games. DeMar DeRozan's averaging over 21.5 points a game, 4 rebounds, 7 assists for the forward. Meanwhile, DeJounte Murray scoring nearly 16 a night himself, 7 boards, 5 assists for Murray. San Antonio leads the NBA defensively in second quarter points allowed on the road. And when it comes to the total in this one, 4 out of the Spurs' last 5 outings got over the line, 17-14 to the over when they travel. Meanwhile, the Jazz saw 6 out of their last 10 meetings with San Antonio get over the total as well. I'm going to lean toward the San Antonio Spurs plus 6.5 and the over 218 and a hook. With that, guys, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap, powered to you by my Patreon website. I like Orlando plus 10 over 217.5. Portland minus 11 over 227. Phoenix Suns minus 1 under 228.5. Memphis Grizzlies minus 3.5 under 236. Philadelphia minus 13.5 under 223. Sacramento plus 6 under 239.5. Milwaukee minus 4.5 under 241. New York Knicks plus 3 over 215. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 6-1 in our last 7 extra daily pick tier package plays on my Patreon website. We're also 10-2 in our last dozen extra daily pick tier package plays in that very same category. I'm going to lean toward the San Antonio Spurs plus 6.5 and the over 218 and a hook. With that, guys, now it's time for some shout outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to Solo Rider, Official Express Money, Anthony Wright, Inez Shepard, Compton Rob, Peter Hansen, Marcus Mejia, Henry Diaz, Amir Al-Sayabi, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my good friend, Keith Chung. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind, Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.